Before I offer any commentary, I'm going to play Tommy Robinson's video in full. There won't be any interruptions, edits, or reactions during this section. The aim is to present the material exactly as it was published, so you can hear the full argument in its original context. Once the video is finished, I'll return and go through it in detail, looking at the claims being made, the assumptions behind them, and the broader economic and social factors involved. So first, here is the complete video.
They say that pubs and restaurants are the beating heart of British culture, but they're dying, and they're dying big. When I think about the resistance of the English Defence League, when we started in 2009, we started from the pubs. Everything was organised and run from the pubs. All of those pubs that we used, they're all gone. But we're in Lincoln. So in the town centre, there's only one traditional English pub, not owned by the corporations or by Wetherspoons or groups like that. So we're going to pop in this one now, the New Inn. We're going to see what it's like for this pub and what it would mean if this pub had to close. There's 2,000 predicted to close pretty soon due to Labour's new policies. Labour's policies which I believe are intentional. I believe it's intentional to get rid of this beating hub where community come together. When men come into these pubs or communities come into these pubs, what do they talk about? They talk about politics. They talk about what's wrong in the country. They talk against Keir Starmer and his government. So what does the government want? They don't want you talking in pubs. They don't want you talking online. They want to censor you on all social media. But the last thing they want is a community centre that's free, that everyone can go to galvanise, come together and discuss the failures of this country. What would it mean if this pub wasn't here? What would it mean if the pub had to close?
It'd mean a lot. This is the hub of Boston.
Well, it's a place where everyone comes and meets, it's local, and it's like we feel like it's a big family.
Can I ask you, what, as a pensioner, what this pub means to you?
Everything.
Cornerstone for everybody, really. It's a place of gathering, place of where everybody just comes and gets together.
Then all the old pubs have gone, they've all closed down. So I'm going to make it my New Year's resolution that I will start to come to the pub because it gets everyone together.
Yeah.
And that's what you need.
Look at this for a Wednesday.
Yes, yeah.
What does a pub like this mean to a community like this?
Everything. All the pubs in our town are dying. They've been dying for weeks and weeks and weeks, months, years. It's because of the government, because of the legislation that they're putting in place. It's all the taxes that they're putting on everybody.
And what difference would it make, say in this town? I know lots of these similar pubs have already shut. What would it make if this was gone, if there were none of these pubs?
It'd be a killer because we're losing them week by week.
So I understand you're the landlord of this pub?
Yep.
How long have you been?
16 and a half years.
It's a long time for one venue. How have you seen things change over those 16 and a half years? Where we're at now with the recent government policies that are about to come into act and next budget, how's it been as a landlord now?
Hard. Very hard. It just gets harder and harder.
Obviously the beer's going up, rates is going up, supermarkets, cheap beer.
The gas, the electric, the bills, so it'll be that high with the rent and rates that these places will no longer be able to afford to run.
If the pub had to close, if they were forced to close for financial situations, what detriment would that be to the local community?
Well, it would split everybody up, wouldn't it? Because all the locals come here, so it'd all be split up, so you couldn't have a talk or chat or discuss politics or anything.
Do you think that's the purpose of making...
Yeah, of course it is.
Like I say, when they come out, people get an opinion. When they're sat at home, they're sat there watching the TVs, nobody gets involved in anything, do they?
Why do you think the government might be bringing in policies that make it difficult for pubs that would see something like this having to close?
Because it's places where people can come and chat and voice opinions. They want to shut everything down. They don't want you to have a voice of your own and an opinion, and they don't want you socialising.
Isn't it mad that the average person now sees why the government bring these policies in? It's not about money. It's about ending community.
It is. It's control. It's control.
You two in here, have you ever stood in this pub and moaned about Keir Starmer?
Yeah, all the time.
Yeah, all the time. Yeah. That's why they want to get rid of the pub.
He's useless.
I know, but that's why they want to get rid of the pub. The pub or the restaurant, these sorts of hospitality industries are the beating heart of the British culture. If they disappear, part of our culture disappears, part of our community disappears. What can the government do? What can they do? What should they be doing? Compared to what they've done in the last budget, upping everything, making it more difficult, what should they be doing?
Well, cut VAT on hospitality. That would help a lot.
Which wouldn't just help financially, it would help the country.
Yeah.
It would help community, it would help spirit, it would help...
The businesses have been probably more profitable, so then obviously there's more money about.
I can only talk from my experience from my estate in Luton, where there were 5 pubs.
Yeah.
They're all gone.
Yeah.
They're all gone, and the pub is the centre of a community, it's the centre of it's what brings people together. Most meetings, most things happen or coming together, discussing politics. Do you think it's intentional? Do you think they're purposely making it difficult
Yes, I do, yeah. Yeah, I do, yeah.
You do?
Yeah, because I think they want the pub to die out.
There's a whole industry. Pubs like this people's first job when they come out of school used to be working behind the bar, glass collecting, things like this.
We used to, when we first came here, on a Friday afternoon, this pub would be rammed with workers off the land. They've done the week's work, they're out spending the money. That doesn't happen no more. It doesn't happen. They ain't got the money, they can't afford to.
We can't put our prices down because obviously the government and the breweries keep putting the prices up. So we can only sell it at a certain...
What about staff? Because I know you've had to put... Is it more costly now for you to have staff?
Yes. Me and Dean, we're the two where we work all the time. Well, not so much me, but my husband is here 7 days a week.
And did you used to have other staff? So would that burden have been taken by some more staff that now you can't afford?
Yeah, he would have had at least 1 day off a week.
So their new policies have resulted in people losing their jobs.
They have, yeah.
There's no one in the Labour Party. It's supposed to be...
None of them have had a business.
No. It's supposed to be the working party of the working man. They have not got a clue. They don't understand small business. I had my own small business, which unfortunately, due to ill health, finished 5 years ago. But it was a nightmare then, and it must be worse now.
If Labour continue and the government policies continue the way they are, what's the future?
Oh, the country's just done, innit? It's done. Pubs like this, if we don't come in here and we don't use these pubs, they're finished.
And then the community's finished.
Oh yeah, 100%. Town centre's finished.
And how, if policies continue, I've seen a statistic today, 2,000 pubs are expected to close. If the Labour government continues with these policies over the next 4 years, 3 years, do you think it could push you out?
Pubs in my opinion, pubs like this will be gone in the next 10 years. There'll be no more pubs like this.
Do you think in your 17 years of trading, this is the most detrimental it's been, the worst position?
Yes, it's the worst, yeah. COVID.
Did it get worse under Labour?
Definitely, yeah, definitely worse. Yeah.
If you could give Keir Starmer a message and the Labour government...
Well, if you ever come to this pub, he wouldn't be allowed in.
The average person in the pub realises the reason they believe, which is the same as me, the reason they believe the government are hiking these prices is to break these places. They don't want the community spirit, they don't want people coming together, they don't want you talking. And the average person understands that. Now, you heard a message here from the landlord and the landlady, just cut the rates. Give the British culture back, give people back their community, fill the pubs again. If you're at home, go to your local pub. Don't go to the supermarket, go to your local pub, support the local business, and at the next election, hopefully, a political party stands up for these venues and gives a rebirth to the hospitality section, because they're absolutely, literally raping it, our government are, at the minute.
Shift explanatory tone. Pubs have been closing for more than 20 years. Under different governments, different parties, different economic conditions. They were closing after supermarket alcohol pricing undercut them. They were closing after the smoking ban. They were closing during the financial crash. And they were absolutely hammered by COVID. So when we're told that today's closures are proof of a deliberate strategy by this current government that ignores 2 decades of structural decline, that's not analysis. That's selective memory. Slight emphasis. Then there's the 2,000 pubs are expected to close statistic. No source. No time frame. No context. Is that over 1 year? 5? Is that net loss? How many open each year? When a number is repeated without explanation, it stops being evidence and starts being theatre. And theatre is powerful, but it's not proof. The biggest leap comes with the censorship argument. We're told the government is hiking costs because they don't want people talking in pubs, that they want to break community spirit, that this is about control. But rising energy prices have hit restaurants, shops, factories, gyms, care homes, almost every sector. Inflation has been global. Staffing shortages have been global. Supply chain disruption has been global. If every developed country is facing similar pressures, the idea that this is a uniquely British plot to silence pub conversations starts to fall apart. If a government wanted to silence dissent in 2026, targeting beer prices would be the least efficient strategy imaginable. Slow down, acknowledge emotion. Now that doesn't mean the emotion is fake. For the people in that pub, this place clearly matters. It's routine, it's familiarity, it's memory, it's identity. But we also have to acknowledge something uncomfortable. Younger generations don't use pubs the same way. They drink less. They socialize differently. They have more home entertainment. They're more health conscious. And after COVID, many people simply change their habits. Town centres have already survived the loss of department stores, of banks, of video rental shops, of local cinemas. Change feels like loss, but change isn't the same as collapse. There's also a pattern in the interviews. Every voice reinforces the same conclusion, that this is intentional, that people know, that the country is finished. But we don't hear from younger customers. We don't hear from pub owners who adapted successfully. We don't hear from economists. We don't hear alternative explanations. When only one type of voice is shown, you don't get a national consensus. You get an echo chamber. It is completely reasonable to argue for lower VAT on hospitality. It's reasonable to criticize business rates. It's reasonable to want policy that helps small businesses survive. What isn't reasonable is turning a complex mix of economics, culture, generational change, and post-pandemic behavior into a grand conspiracy to silence free speech. Pubs are struggling. That's real. But claiming they're being deliberately destroyed to stop people talking about politics doesn't just lack evidence, it distracts from the serious, practical conversation we should be having about how town centres actually adapt and survive. And if we want to save community spaces, the conversation needs facts, not fatalism. If you value evidence over assumptions, make sure you subscribe to Auditron. This channel uses artificial intelligence tools to analyze and verify claims made in viral political content, including statements from figures like Tommy Robinson. Instead of reacting to rhetoric, we break down what's actually supported by data, what's misleading, and what needs proper context. If you want fact-checking, powered by AI and grounded in evidence, hit subscribe and join the Auditron community.